I'm Seamless, and today is Wednesday, which means it's time for a sound design request tutorial. And this was me trying to make an M machine sound, which I kind of did. Normally I would do this in two parts, but this one is pretty straightforward, so I'm just going to cram it all into one part. The original is in the original link is in the description. The FOP for this is in the description, and the Facebook post on which I would like you to request if you have one for next week is in the description. Everything ever is in the description. Anyway, this is broken up into three things. It's broken up into a white noise. That kind of modulates on and off. I decided to accomplish this with a flangus that I set to surround flanger. It's a preset, and then I just turned the cross all the way up so that the super panning doesn't happen as hard, and then set the dry up a little bit so that because it modulates, but it doesn't modulate that deep if you listen to the actual sound. So it's just there. It's got a saw bass. Which I put reverb on just because it's a very saw bass, not very complicated. Now this sound, there's a lot of ways that you can accomplish this. There's probably screen filter involved in the modulation because some parts of it kind of got screamy, but only on particular notes. And I could not see an immediate way of being able to do that, but I remembered from doing a square pusher tutorial that I could have done that through automation using the screen filter in Massive, but I decided not to, and this is because this is a gigantic layer. The sounds that was happening in this, and this is only the beginning, because later, like, the next bar, there's more layers that come in. I think it's just another saw wave, but this I decided I got cute with it because it sounded like there were two, one for each side. There was this different kind of like metallic reverb screechy thing, and I decided to kind of cheat with this by turning on unison, turning the pan all the way up and moving the phase around, but then not having a pitch difference. So this means that there's technically the same pitch that's going on, and then I'm using the unison index mapping to change parameters so that they sound a little bit different. But overall, they are largely the same thing. And the one thing that I did change was the prism amount. And what this does, I went over to the prism amount and then unison index mapping, which is in this drop-down list, and then I changed it. And so one side is that setting, and the other side is the negative setting, which means it's over here somewhere. So it makes them sound very different when they're together. And then I also changed the unison pitch a bit, but that was because I was still planning on actually using unison as it was originally intended, but it's not actually doing anything, so I'm going to reset that. So now nothing's happening but the unison prism amount. And like I suppose if I wanted, I could like engage the phaser and then change the width so that there are different settings for left and right. Because why not? But the primary sort of ringy sound that's being accomplished is a result of the detune function here. I'll turn it up to number 8. And I've also turned down the frequency divider 4, which actually makes it the same pitch, technically, as the bass frequency of the saw wave. But it doesn't sound like a bass. And you can see here the low harmonic is there, but it's actually being attenuated a little bit in the local EQ, where I turn this down here. And as you can see, if you look at the timbre section up here, you can actually see it change the waveform as I do that, where it removes that frequency and then the wave shape is different. As also, if I add it in, it'll become more like it's a louder sine wave because that's getting really, really loud. So that's what ends up happening there. Except that with all these frequencies here, it still has the apparent frequency of that tone because of the period change and this sharp action here. But when I move the detune to 8, it goes from sounding like this to this. You can go higher. But that's pretty much all there is to that. So I have turned on reverb and I turned on distortion to set them to do decent things. But what I've done here is I've gone to the advanced tab and I've changed the FX order so that reverb is in front of distortion. So it's actually distorting the reverb signal. And that's what makes it sort of like super duper metal sounding. And then I also put a reverb on the post in the effects and then EQ'd it a little bit. And all together. Yeah, so that's one way. That's pretty much the way I decided to go about making this sound. It's not super duper complicated. I don't really know what he used. A machine, the man, the guy, the machine. I'm assuming it's one guy. I've been wrong about that before, but I hadn't really do much super duper research into whatever it was. And I also kind of took the easy route in doing literally just the intro of the intro, because as more synths got layered in there, they go off and do different things, and it's kind of hard for me to keep track of like what the melody and the harmonies are, and that makes it difficult to know what sounds are being played on what, which is probably why you wanted me to do this tutorial, but I checked it out. I also used 3x OSC to make the noise and the saw bass, because that would have been a waste of armor to do that. Yep, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. Don't forget to post your requests for next week's requests on the Facebook post, which is listed in the description. And as usual, have a nice day. Have the nicest day.